Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tiny Blue Games. My name, of course, is Seesaw or Chris, and today we're talking Wildstar. Specifically, we're going to be looking at Wildstar's newest content update, Homecoming. And as you would believe, with the word home in it, it's all about housing. That's right, the beautiful feature that is housing in Wildstar is getting even better with the addition of communities. Now, what this does is it allows you and several friends to make a big housing plot where you can have, your each own little piece of land on it, much like a regular community. And what's really exciting about this is that these are really, really big land plots. Like, you can make some very impressive things, and we're going to look at some that are already being developed, so don't go anywhere. This video gets really exciting and less focused on me jumping around, but it's going to be crazy. So I don't know if you've watched the last video I made. If not, I'm just going to give you a brief explanation. In Wildstar, you can go and visit other people's plots. You just go look them up. I'll show you how to do it in this video. But in the last video, I suggested, hey, why not make a list of some of the coolest houses in the game in the comments below? And a lot of people did that. So we're going to be looking at a lot of really cool houses that have been listed below in future videos. And I'm going to say that for this one too. Why not list some really cool communities in the comments below? So we have our menu open. You can see that there's just a community section on the side. That's all you have to do. Just go to communities. We're going to go to the first one, which is just called Ice Peaks, and it's owned by Kara. We're going to check it out. So we're just going to, go down in descending order and check them out. Some of them obviously are just very barely started because, like, let's be honest, this is a very new update, and the chances of some really cool things being completely finished now is, pretty hard to imagine. I mean, some people probably know life this and like, I need the most amazing house and I need it right now. I'm not one of those people, or at least I can't afford to be one of those people. I need to work. I wish I could be. So we're going to check out the first one here, which is Ice Peaks. Is it Ice Peaks? I already forget. What you can tell right away is that there are very specific boundaries to the plot. So like when I go over the plot line, yeah, so it's called Ice Peaks, you actually get to see what each specific piece of land's called, and then the in-between area is going to be what the community is called. So just going over the plot line, I get, just a name, and then going back over it, I go into the community area, and then I can go over to the next actual plot. So there is that very specific part here where, it is property. So it's not like you can build something crazy that goes onto everyone's land. It has to stay within your area, which, I mean, unless you want to work together and build something super cool, which some people definitely have been doing. You can see in some of the following ones. But right now we have this really cool icy area. They definitely hold true to the name. It's a wonderful ice village, and it's actually pretty much just one plot right now that has all this, which is crazy because of how big it looks. Like, you can look in all directions at some points in this like little area, and it's like just snow everywhere. And I can only imagine once, all the other plots are put together, how, beautiful this sort of snowy map could be. Maybe one of the plots will be just a huge mountain that's just all about getting as tall as it could get, or maybe a ski hill or something like that. That would be amazing. I think it would be funny, though, if one of the plots, went against the theme and just made a random desert somewhere. That would be pretty funny. So we're going to move to the next one, Fantastic Enterprises, owned by Guy Fantastic. I mean, you have to assume it's fantastic with that kind of name. But yeah, it's a very different looking plot, as you can see. I've also cut out the loading time between these. So one thing I've noticed going from, community to community, you can tell if there's been a lot of work done to some communities just based on the loading. And so far I've only found, some communities that have two really developed plots, and already their loading time is up to like 30 seconds for my computer and my internet connection. But, it's significantly more than just loading into a regular house, which is to be expected with how much there is there. But that's interesting. So this is a pretty cool place. We saw that pretty modern house, but specifically he has a whole area, or she, I don't know who Guy Fantastic is, to military defense. So obviously there's, It's not a safe community, or maybe it is safe. I guess it's a very safe community now, but there was something to be concerned about at some point. This is a particularly interesting thing where a river just randomly starts because it's, a land border, which I'm not like, I mean, I get that it has to be like that. It kind of looks weird. This is a really cool building. This piece of glass here tripped me out for a really long time. I was like, why can't I get into this super awesome place? At first I thought it was like, a hoverboarding area. That was just sort of locked away, but that didn't really make much sense. And it's a pretty classy place. It seems weird to have a hoverboarding area just locked away behind a bunch of wooden panels and stuff like that. But you knew this wasn't going to keep me out. I was going to get in there. So I went around the side and was actually able to jump over it to go look at this super cool ramp looking thing. And once I got over it, I realized, hey, this isn't a hoverboarding area. This is a like pool and slide area. So you go up the ramp to the very top, and then you can go down the slide and you end up in the pool or on the wall based on physics. But it doesn't matter. It's pretty damn cool. I love it. It's very luxurious, and I guess that's what you'd kind of expect with the name of the plot. From the actual design, it looks like, the same kind of builder has been very influenced on each piece of land. I mean, it might just be a bunch of, friends who are very specific in an image that they want, but I for sure get the feeling from this community that there's going to be a very specific theme, and I'm extremely excited to actually return to a lot of these communities that I'm looking at really early on and seeing how they develop, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. Come back and see, the most amazing castle you've ever seen in a year's time. I'm pretty excited to be able to experience that. So the other thing you have to remember is that you have these huge pieces of land, but you also have the housing that you can go into. I think that's one of the most interesting thing about Wildstar's housing feature is that a lot of the houses these days really focus on the outside and what you can do with like just the actual land. But when you go into the house, there's so much you can do. And already in 2 days, this person's house blows anything I've ever come close to making in a house out of the water. Like, I don't know. It's just absolutely crazy what you can do in these houses. I really got to get inspired and make one myself. But like the different beds, like there's like little bedrooms. It's so cute, and it's just well thought out, I guess, is the thing, right? Like someone went to the time to like think, hey, there needs to be a bathroom area, or there needs to be somewhere to change clothes, or a bed. Like it's just really cool. Like look at this bathroom area. There's a bathtub. There's like a shower area. Man, it is just a toilet, obviously. Like very well thought out. And I mean, how cool is that ensuite area in general? The house itself has got a lot of room too. Like you have a lot to play with, which is very interesting. Specifically, if you think of the plot as 5 different pieces of land and the houses. So the last plot we're going to look at is the Wild Grove. And this one only has 2 specific pieces of land that are, developed yet. There's a lot of area that's waiting around, but I would say this, in terms of visuals and atmosphere, is the most stunning. So just looking at the whole thing from afar, it's clear that it's sort of a rainforest feel. And this really has allowed the people making the houses to go to the size scale and just crank those to max and see what kind of mayhem you can unleash on a housing plot. And from the outside, it's a little bit intrusive just because you have so many like leaves on top of each other and roots sticking out. But I mean, that's how a jungle's supposed to feel, right? It's supposed to feel like it's invading on space. The other thing we learned here for sure is that going into the different plots affects the, sky and like the actual lighting and stuff like that. So you do have control over that. And it's a very interesting thing because you could really play with like different times of day in different areas of your plot. I mean, could you imagine the mind twist of like going from one side of the plot where it's like supposed to be early morning to the other side where it's evening, and then in between there's all these different like time settings within one plot? That sounds crazy and it would blow my mind. But you can see that the ambient lighting's really improved kind of the feel of the jungle here, right? just driving through the areas underneath the trees here, it feels like we're completely enclosed by the forest, and that was the clear, you know, desire here. And just out of nowhere, really, I find a few ramps, and I, you know, go and check out some beds and stuff like that, right? I'm a pretty big fan of just general woodwork and tree houses, so I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. But then I start finding ramps that go up, and up into the sky, and it gets darker, and there's like lights along the side, and this is where I get, you know, taken into a whole new world, where like I'm like, how big is this place? Like, how far up does it go? And then you get up here and there's like telescopes on top of like huge buildings of like trees and stuff like that. It is crazy, the thought that went into this. I think it's a very cool place. And the thought to even bring the telescope up to one of the highest points and just have it sort of with an observatory area. Oh, I love it. And then you get into the lighting too, where you do finally get to the top and there's less trees blocking some of the moonlight. And because of that, you have these completely new shadows and these new glowing areas. Oh, it's just beautiful. I really thought that this place did a great job of taking all aspects of nature and bringing it together. I'm getting very design oriented into this discussion, but which is crazy considering I have no actual skill in making my own houses, so I should not at all be able to judge. But just based on how this made me feel, it definitely made me feel nice and trapped at the start, and then as you got to the top of the jungle, you felt like you were on top of the world, and it was a very strong feeling of freedom at the top compared to the bottom, which I just loved. Now, the thing that's going to blow your mind away is what we've just been looking at, that whole sort of ramp area into the trees and like the different lights and stuff like that. That was just one plot on a 5-plot piece of land, and that wasn't like going in any houses or anything like that. Just crazy. So we're gonna move over. There's obviously a few plots here that haven't been developed, as the one that we're driving through right now, and I think once it gets developed, it's going to make sort of this chaos a little bit cleaner, because you can have the first one that you load into kind of like escort you over top of all these routes, and it becomes a lot less confusing as how you get into these plots, which I don't want to say I struggled with, but I certainly had certain issues getting over some roots and rocks and stuff like that. And it could be just the case that there is a very obvious entrance that I am stupid and can't find. And I'm more than willing to accept that that could be the case. But I think once you have all of the land pieces developed, and you know you have the person who's supposed to be the main entrance aware of that, you can really develop a lot more. Now, I haven't actually set up my own community because I don't have friends, which you require. I mean, I could go and buy some more accounts, or I guess make some more accounts free to play for the win. But I'm not really sure how you decide who's the person that everyone comes to when they choose to go and visit your community. I'm sure there's a way to select that, or if it's the person who actually like makes the initial organization of the plot, that might be the case. But I was a little bit confused by that, and maybe someone can clear that up in the comments. That'd be great. But yeah, just a really stunning area, and I was very happy with how this entire update has, I don't know, it just made one of the best features in Wildstar much, much better. And like, I thought it was going to be kind of cool, like, you know, just having your friends nearby, but the possibilities that I've now realized this brings for the game in terms of what people can build, I think we're going to see some really crazy projects. And I think it's those really crazy projects that are going to bring some more people into the game. Because, I mean, you even see that with Minecraft and stuff. When someone builds, like, you know, a replica of something crazy in Minecraft, it no doubt encourages people, hey, I want to try that out. But yeah, this has been Homecoming. Hopefully you guys are loving it as much as I am, because I am digging it. I look forward to hearing some of your favorite communities, or just, you know, share your own community if you want me to come visit, check it out. You know, I'd love to see it. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.